Hey guys, Sandy here, and I have my How to Kill a Kit with Style kit ready to go. Now, my kit is like beautiful. It has beautiful colors, it has beautiful florals in it, and I'm gonna scrapbook this photo of a machete. So, machete is one of my favorite words to say. Fun fact, I also like onomatopoeia. And my husband had gone out and he was shopping for something and he found the machete and he brought it home for me because I have always wanted my own machete. So I'm going to use my beautiful kit to document this story about the machete. Let's see what I can do. Now, I just want to put it out there that you can scrapbook a photograph with any supplies you want to scrapbook it with. Now, I know yesterday or the day before, not exactly sure which day the layout went up, I had a layout that was some beach photos, and I matched the colors of my layout to my photos. Like there is a complete like seaside mermaidy feeling going on that layout. And on this layout, I am scrapbooking a big old machete and I am using pretty products to do it. So I just want to give you the encouragement, the words, whatever you need to hear to like scrapbook the way you want to scrapbook. If you have, I don't know, any kind of photo and you want to use beautiful products to document it, then do it. Don't feel like you have to like should I have found camo paper and like hunting things and stuff like that for my machete photo? No, because that's not the kind of scrapbooking product that makes me happy. Camo paper does not make me happy, you guys. But the papers and products in my How to Kill a Kit with Style kit make me happy, so I'm going to use it to scrapbook it. And I think that we get so kind of bogged down by I have to use the right products to tell, with the right photo, and I have to tell the right story. Like, who decides what is right and wrong? You do, because it's your scrapbook. So do whatever you want to do, people. Like, just do it. You know? Just do it. Okay. Now that I am off my soapbox a little bit, we are layering up some washi tape on some white cardstock. So I just used the floral washi tape on like 2 passes of it. And then I went ahead on top of that and did this kind of like coppery zigzag washi tape on the top of that because I wanted to build a border. And if I would have put the washi directly on top of this very patterned paper, you would have seen the pattern underneath of it, and I really did not want you to see it. I wanted this to be a solid border that was going to kind of differentiate between the 2 patterns. And it is crooked, but don't you worry, I will fix that later. So at first, I was going to do this kind of like coppery rose gold washi tape on white paper as well, but then I realized that this was not a translucent washi tape. This is definitely opaque. You're not going to see through it, so I just decided to lay it directly on top of my papers. And that's awesome to me. So we definitely have this border piece going on, and now I'm just trying to figure out how I want to lay out my photo now that I have this big border piece going across the top third of the page. And then I decide ultimately that I'm going to use kind of this printed background paper where it has lots of things like tickets and library cards and telegram notation and that kind of thing. So I just was going to go ahead and use that. I do trim down my photo to 5 3/4 by 4 inches. And that, or did I not do it on this one? I'm sorry. I'm looking at my finished layout instead of the process video, so I really don't know what I just did. So if I didn't trim it down to 5 3/4 inches, it is something that I do on a pretty regular basis when I want to use a 6x6 paper pad to mat my photo. And I think we get a little kind of like caught up in our heads where we're like, my paper is 6x6 and my photo is 6 inches across, and oh no, I can't use this to mat. Yes, you can. Trim off a little bit of the photo. Like if there was something, if that tiny little 1/4 of an inch would totally ruin your photo, obviously don't cut it off. But usually that 1/4 of an inch, nobody's going to notice it. It doesn't matter, and just trim it off and mat your photo on a 6x6 piece of paper. It works great. Now I'm going through these die cuts. These are 1 Canoe 2 die cuts, and I pulled out this one where it had this block of color from light green to dark green with some kind of rose gold, coppery plus signs. See, I'm not exactly sure what this color is, you guys, because sometimes I look at it and it looks very coppery. And sometimes I look at it and it looks like there's more rose gold in it. So it's like this metallic color that's beautiful, but I just don't know how to classify it. Just because it just looks different each time I look at it. So I do have this blue star paper. It's kind of like stars and waves. And I'm going to use that because there is some kind of bluish greenish color in the background. But I think that the color is close enough, and the lighter colors, that it's not going to look garish. Like, you're not going to look at this and be like, oh girl, why did you put blue paper on this layout? At least I don't think you're going to. Maybe you're doing that right now. And the reason why is what I just explained. So there it is. I do put this white doily on. Most of the papers that I'm using are not white. There's definitely a kind of creamy base to it. But the die cut that I used up at the top has white on it. This doily is going to have white on it. And then I figured maybe I would use the other half of the die cut to bring white one more time in the page, because I am going to have this diagonal line of embellishment. Ultimately, I do add some white to the page, but it's not the other side of that die cut that I cut in half. Now this little kind of, it's like a wonky circle, says full of joy. And it definitely has that metallic, coppery, rosy copper. That's what I'm going to call it. Rosy copper. Has that rosy copper metallic on it. This die cut card says things that make my soul happy, and I just trimmed off the numbers because I wasn't going to have a list of things that make me happy. I was just going to journal a little bit about the machete. Now these pretty little studio banners are super fun, and the colors on them are fantastic. So I just went ahead and trimmed out 2 that would work. And that is a yellowy one and kind of a bluey green one. And I layer them on top of each other, and I'm going to tuck them underneath of the Full of Joy. So this is something I do on a pretty regular basis as well, and that is put 2 little banners together in kind of a V shape and tuck them up underneath something. Now, if I'm sounding a little bit out of breath, I apologize. I finally got over the sinus infection, and then my allergies started to kick, and like, it's just rough. It's just rough. Like, breathing is easy. Like, I can breathe. It's not any of this virus nonsense, but my nose is congested and stuffy. So it's kind of hard to breathe out of my nose. So I'm trying to breathe out of my mouth while I'm running my mouth, and sometimes that comes across as I just finished running a marathon or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, that is what is going on there. So these are Love from Lizzie peel-offs, and I get these in my Love from Lizzie card kit each month. And the great thing about these little guys is she has a couple different versions of them. Some of them are a kind of like a wavy one. Some of them are a straight where it's all one size, and some of them are pinstripe. And I think I got this one right, where this one's the pinstripe where it's a couple different sizes. They just make really beautiful edges to anything you want to finish off. So I just decided that I was going to outline this piece of pattern paper with all of the lines and such on it, just because, you know, the pattern paper's a little bit whoa, because there are so many different colors to it, and the things look like they're layered up on each other. So I just wanted to kind of contain that and have it all together as one. And the teal color matches great. It's like a teal mint green. I don't even know what the name of the color is, but it matches with this kit. So I'm just going to go ahead and outline it there as well. And I like it. I definitely like it. It adds just an ever so slight touch of sparkle, because sparkle is always good to have. So I'm just finishing up wrapping the little paper up, and there that is. So now I'm trying to figure out my title, and I had no idea what I was going to do. I definitely wanted to use one of the words from this thicker set. Ultimately, I grabbed the arrow instead of the title because, even though I pulled it out thinking of the title, I still found something else and decided to work on something else. But as you can see, I kind of do go all over the place when I scrapbook. It isn't like I am, I've got to do this one complete section and then I move to this and then I move to this. I'm kind of all over my layout because that's how my brain works. And I guess that's really my life too. I'm all over the place. I really hate, this is going to sound weird, but I really hate rigid structure. Okay, I am a super fan of structure, but rigid structure where I have to get from A to Z and go through the alphabet in order kind of drives me crazy. I want to be able to have the parameters to go from A to Z, but I want to be able to play around in the middle and get there how I want to get there. Does that make sense? Most of the time when I'm trying to explain to people how my brain works, like that helps. So who knows? Maybe it helps. Maybe you're just like, woo, girl is cuckoo, cuckoo. But that's kind of how I feel. I love me some structure, but I want to be able to play in it. Which is why I think I'm so much happier the way I scrapbook now. I'm still consider myself a very chronological scrapbooker, but I used to start with January and scrapbook completely in order all the way through December. And it didn't matter if I was feeling those pictures or not, like that's what I did. However, I am much, much happier now that I'm like working. I usually work within a year. I'm kind of doing 2 different years right now because I still haven't wrapped up 2018, even though there's only like 6 layouts I need to finish to wrap that up. But I like working within the year where I'm not doing it chronologically, but I'm kind of like playing within that year. That has completely opened up my scrapbooking life, and I'm just much, much happier that way. So I'm going to use these little dots that are in these Dear Lizzie thickers, kind of like an enamel dot, just because I like them. I think that they are pretty, and they bring more in of that minty, bluey, I guess it is really more minty, but that minty, bluey green color that is throughout the layout. So now I am looking at the thickers again because I'm still trying to figure out how I can use a word. So I decided to peel out the word simple, and I'm just going to place it here. I'm trying to make it so that you can still read the things that make my soul happy on that die cut card. And then I'm going to pull in the thickers, and I'm going to spell out It's That. So the title reads, It's That Simple. Now I do mess around with these guys a little bit, and I don't have any letter I's, so I do have a bunch of brackets, and I just go ahead and trim down one of those brackets to make the letter I. And I am probably making all of you lovely grammar people cringe because I am not going to add an apostrophe between the T and the S for It's That Simple. I'm just not going to do it. Not because I am opposed to using correct punctuation, but I'm just not. Like, I'm just not worried about the grammar of it on my scrapbook layouts. And you probably, if you've watched enough of my videos, you probably get that. With my titles, I really just don't care about the grammar of it. Now, if I was writing a paper, then yes, then there would be an apostrophe. But I just don't care. It's a scrapbooking title, and I don't know. If my scrapbooks make it and last into future generations, people are either going to be like, man, great grandma Sandy, she just sucked at grammar. I mean, if that's what they want to think about me, like, go for it. Like, it doesn't matter, guys. Like, I really don't care. It's the minutia that just doesn't bother me. I just don't care. Now, I am going to use my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to get some stuff to stick down a little bit more. I mean, these are thicker, so you know that the adhesive on the back of them is not that great. So I add adhesive to the letters, and I'm also adding adhesive to the little dots that I sprinkled around the page, like enamel dots, because they are the thicker dots, and I just feel like I'll get this layout into an album and the dots will either have already fallen off, or when I open the album again in a month or two to look at the layouts, what's going to happen is all the dots will be at the bottom of the page protector. So I felt like I just needed to add that adhesive. I wrote, I love machetes. The word is just fun to say. Christopher brought me home my very own. He knows the way to my heart. February 10th, 2019. And you might be thinking that's a super weird thing for a husband to bring home a wife, but man, I love saying the word machete, and I've always wanted one, and he got it for me. So there we go. And he is secure enough in our marriage that he will buy me a weapon. So there it is, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Please remember to scrapbook with whatever you want to, for whatever story you want to tell, for whatever photos you have. I will see you guys again real soon for another video.